Whitney Houston was born on August 9, 1963, into a middle-class family and would become one of the most celebrated pop stars of all time. Her immense talent earned her the title The Voice. In 2009, Guinness World Records recognized her as the most awarded female artist in history. Despite her fame, Houston's personal life frequently faced scrutiny, particularly due to her struggles with drug addiction. However, her impact extended beyond music. She was also an actress, producer, songwriter, and model. Born to John Russell Houston Jr. and gospel singer Cissy Houston, Emily Drinkard, Whitney was raised in a family rich in musical talent. She was related to legendary singers Dionne Warwick and Dee Dee Warwick, and her honorary aunt was the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Whitney's upbringing was deeply rooted in the church, which played a crucial role in shaping her vocal abilities. Her mother, a renowned gospel singer, was her primary influence, along with soul legends like Roberta Flack and Gladys Knight. Even as a child, Whitney displayed a profound connection to music. She would sing in an empty swimming pool, captivated by the acoustics, although she was initially hesitant to acknowledge her own talent. It was her mother who encouraged and motivated her toward a professional career. As some would call a church baby, growing up immersed in gospel music. She started singing in the choir at New Hope Baptist Church and gained a reputation for delivering powerful performances that would leave the congregation on their feet. Given her family's musical legacy, including her mother, cousin Dionne Warwick, and godmother Aretha Franklin, many saw her rise in the industry as almost predestined. Born in Newark, New Jersey, Whitney Houston moved to West Orange at the age of 4 after the Newark riots as her family sought a safer and better environment. West Orange was a more affluent area compared to their previous neighborhood. Whitney had her first solo performance at age 11 in her Baptist church. Growing up surrounded by music, she absorbed the styles of powerful female vocalists within her family. However, her journey was not without challenges. She was born with a condition that initially cast doubt on whether she would ever be able to sing or even speak. As a teenager, Whitney attended Mount St. Dominic Academy, a Catholic girls' school in Caldwell, New Jersey, where she met her best friend, Robin Crawford, whom she later described as the sister she never had. While still in high school, she frequently traveled with her mother, performing at nightclubs and live venues, honing her craft under her mother's guidance. During these performances, Whitney began capturing the attention of industry professionals. Her mother often invited her on stage, where Whitney's voice deeply moved audiences. Although her mother was supportive, she was also apprehensive about Whitney's pursuit of a music career, fully aware of the industry's challenges. Whitney's breakthrough came when music industry icon Clive Davis, head of Arista Records, discovered her while she was performing as part of her mother's nightclub act. Although he initially came to see her mother, he was captivated by Whitney's voice and stage presence. Before her formal debut, Whitney had already worked as a backup singer for artists like Michael Zager and Chaka Khan. Her backup vocals on Chaka Khan's I'm Every Woman would later come full circle when Whitney re-recorded the song for the Bodyguard soundtrack. In addition to her singing career, Whitney also made waves in the modeling industry. A photographer who saw her perform at Carnegie Hall helped launch her modeling career, making her one of the first African-American women to appear on the cover of 17 magazine. She also modeled for Glamour, Cosmopolitan, and Young Miss, and appeared in a Canada Dry commercial. Despite her modeling success, Whitney's true passion remained music. She contributed vocals to various projects, including the album One Down by Material, which led critics to praise her exceptional voice. However, her mother had turned down previous record deals, insisting that Whitney finish high school before pursuing music professionally. In 1983, Arista Records representative Gary Griffiths saw Whitney perform in a nightclub and was so impressed that he convinced Clive Davis to attend one of her shows. Davis was immediately struck by her talent and offered her a worldwide recording contract. Recognizing her immense potential, he worked diligently to ensure her debut album had the perfect combination of songs and producers. Whitney's official national debut came when she performed on The Merv Griffin Show with Clive Davis by her side. Davis compared her talent to legends such as Barbra Streisand, setting high expectations for her future. In 1983, Arista Records officially signed her, and Davis was meticulous in crafting her debut album, ensuring it featured the right material and production. Before her album's release, Whitney recorded a duet with Teddy Pendergrass titled Hold Me, which became a top 5 R&B hit in 1984. Her self-titled debut album, Whitney Houston, was released in February 1985, featuring contributions from prominent producers like Michael Masser, Kashif, Jermaine Jackson, and Narada Michael Walden. While initial marketing efforts were modest, the album slowly gained momentum, particularly overseas. Rolling Stone praised it as one of the most exciting new vocal debuts, while The New York Times highlighted her exceptional vocal talent. As time passed, the album achieved significant commercial success, eventually topping the Billboard 200 chart. Arista Records used 3 singles to promote the album. Someone for Me was released in the UK but failed to chart, while All at Once found success in the Netherlands and Belgium. The lead single for the US, You Give Good Love, peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and reached number 1 on the Hot R&B chart, marking the beginning of Whitney Houston's ascent to superstardom. With the massive success of her first album, expectations were high for Houston's sophomore release. In June 1987, she released her second album, Whitney, with production once again led by Michael Masser, Kashif, and Narada Michael Walden, alongside Jellybean Benitez. Critics noted similarities to her debut, leading Rolling Stone to criticize the album's lack of innovation. Despite this, Whitney was another commercial juggernaut. The album produced some of her most iconic hits, including I Wanna Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me, Where Do Broken Hearts Go, Didn't We Almost Have It All, and So Emotional. I Wanna Dance with Somebody became a worldwide phenomenon, topping the Billboard Hot 100 in various international charts. Houston broke records with her next 3 singles, which also reached number 1 in the US, giving her an unprecedented 7 consecutive number 1 hits. This surpassed the previous record of 6 held by the Beatles and the Bee Gees. She also became the first female artist to have 4 number 1 singles from a single album. Whitney was certified 9 times platinum in the US and sold over 20 million copies globally. At the 1988 Grammy Awards, she won her second Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for I Wanna Dance with Somebody. She then embarked on the Moment of Truth tour, one of the highest-grossing tours of 1988. By this point, Houston was not only one of the highest-paid entertainers in the world, ranking 3rd among African Americans behind Bill Cosby and Eddie Murphy, but also a dedicated philanthropist, a passionate supporter of Nelson Mandela and the anti-apartheid movement. Houston refused to work with any entity associated with South Africa's apartheid regime. She took part in the Nelson Mandela 70th birthday tribute concert at Wembley Stadium in London, performing before 72,000 attendees and a global audience of over 1 billion. The concert raised over $1 million for charities while drawing attention to apartheid. She continued her activism back in the US, performing a benefit concert at Madison Square Garden for the United Negro College Fund, raising $250,000. Later in 1988, she recorded One Moment in Time, the official song for the Summer Olympics. It became a top 5 hit in the US and number 1 in the UK and Germany. Houston remained one of Forbes' top 20 highest-earning entertainers. In 1994, after Nelson Mandela was elected president, she was invited to the White House for a state dinner in his honor. She later became the first major musician to visit South Africa post-apartheid, performing a concert broadcast on HBO, with proceeds benefiting various South African charities. Inspired by her humanitarian work, Houston founded the Whitney Houston Children's Foundation in 1989. The foundation focused on assisting homeless children, as well as those battling cancer and AIDS. It aimed to empower children to overcome adversity and achieve their dreams. In November 1990, Houston released her third album, I'm Your Baby Tonight, shifting toward a more urban R&B sound. She collaborated with renowned producers such as L.A. Reid, Babyface, Luther Vandross, and Stevie Wonder. While some critics praised the album's versatility, others felt the transition was superficial. Nonetheless, the album was another major success, peaking at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and selling 12 million copies worldwide. The title track, and All the Man That I Need both reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, while Miracle and My Name Is Not Susan also charted in the top 20. In 1991, Houston performed one of the most iconic renditions of the Star-Spangled Banner at Super Bowl 25 during the Persian Gulf War. Her performance was so powerful that it was later released as a single, reaching the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. All proceeds from the single went to the American Red Cross Gulf Crisis Fund, and in recognition of her philanthropy, she was appointed to the Red Cross Board of Governors. Houston's Super Bowl performance was widely regarded as one of the greatest national anthem renditions in history. Rolling Stone praised it for evoking deep patriotism, and the NFL ranked it as the #1 moment in its 25 most memorable moments list. VH1 also listed it as one of the greatest moments that rocked TV. After the September 11th attacks, Arista Records re-released the single, donating all proceeds to firefighters and victims' families. The song was certified platinum and reached #6 on the Billboard Hot 100. Shortly after, Houston organized the Welcome Home Heroes concert with HBO, dedicated to Gulf War veterans and their families. It was held at Naval Station Norfolk and became HBO's highest-rated concert special. In May 2000, Houston released Whitney, The Greatest Hits, a compilation album that featured her biggest hits alongside 4 new songs, including her now iconic rendition of The Star-Spangled Banner. The album reached #1 in the UK and #5 in the US, solidifying her status as an international superstar. Alongside the album, a VHS and DVD were released, featuring her music videos, live performances, and exclusive interviews. The album was certified triple platinum in the US and sold 10 million copies worldwide. Years later, in March 2007, Arista Records released the Ultimate Collection outside the US, adding to her growing catalog of greatest hits compilations. Then in August 2009, Houston released I Look to You, marking her triumphant return to the studio. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, selling 305,000 copies in its opening week. This was her first #1 studio album since Whitney in 1987 and her first #1 album since The Bodyguard soundtrack. Houston made her acting debut in The Bodyguard, 1992, playing a famous singer protected by a bodyguard. The film was a box office success, grossing over $121 million in the US and $410 million worldwide. The soundtrack, featuring Houston's rendition of I Will Always Love You, became legendary, topping charts worldwide and selling 44 million copies. Houston won 3 Grammy Awards for the album. In Waiting to Exhale, 1995, co-starring Angela Bassett, the film centered on the struggles of 4 African-American women and was praised for its portrayal of sisterhood. The soundtrack, co-produced by Houston and Babyface, debuted at #1 and was certified 7 times platinum. In 1996, Houston starred in her 3rd film, The Preacher's Wife, alongside Denzel Washington. She earned $10 million for the role, making her the highest-paid African-American actress in Hollywood at the time. Critics praised her performance, with the San Francisco Chronicle stating that she exuded warmth and displayed her natural talent for both acting and singing. Houston won the NYCP Image Award for Outstanding Actress in a Motion Picture for her performance. Houston met R&B singer Bobby Brown in 1989, and they married in 1992. Their marriage was scrutinized due to their contrasting public personas, and despite their deep love, it faced turmoil. Rumors of drug use began circulating in the late 1990s, affecting Houston's public image and career. Their reality show, Being Bobby Brown, showcased their chaotic marriage. In 2006, Houston separated from Brown and filed for divorce, finalized in 2007, with Houston gaining full custody of their daughter, Bobby Christina. Following her divorce, Houston distanced herself from her past by selling the house that had been prominently featured in Being Bobby Brown. However, Brown later attempted to modify the custody agreement and sought child and spousal support, though a judge dismissed these claims. In 2009, Houston sat down with Oprah Winfrey for her first interview in 7 years. She admitted to using drugs with Brown, revealing that he had laced marijuana with rock cocaine. By 1990, using drugs daily, leading her to feel as though she was losing herself. This was a rare moment of vulnerability, as Houston acknowledged the extent of her struggles and her efforts to move forward. Houston's attempts to regain stability were met with setbacks. In 2011, she performed a tribute to Dionne Warwick at Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammy party, but the performance was not well received. She later entered rehab as an outpatient, acknowledging her continued struggles with drug and alcohol addiction. Her representatives framed it as part of an ongoing recovery process. On February 9, 2012, Houston rehearsed for the Grammy Awards, and her final public performance took place that evening when she joined Kelly Price on stage to sing Jesus Loves Me. Tragically, 2 days later, on February 11, 2012, Houston was found unconscious and submerged in a bathtub in her suite at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Despite attempts by paramedics to revive her, she was pronounced dead at 3:55 p.m. Authorities confirmed there was no immediate evidence of foul play, but the cause of death remained unknown at the time. Preliminary toxicology reports revealed that Houston had drugs in her system at the time of her death. Evidence indicated long-term cocaine use, though it was unclear how much was in her system at the time. Additional substances, including marijuana, Xanax, Flexeril, and Benadryl, were also detected. Her heart disease was cited as a contributing factor. Her sister-in-law and manager, Patricia Houston, expressed sadness over the toxicology results, but acknowledged that having closure was important. Some viewed the timing of Houston's passing as symbolic, given that it occurred the day before the Grammy Awards, a stage where she had once delivered some of her most unforgettable performances. An invitation-only memorial was held on February 18, 2012, at New Hope Baptist Church in Newark, New Jersey, where Houston had first begun singing as a child. Many of her friends, collaborators, and fellow musicians attended, with some performing in her honor. Initially planned as a 2-hour service, it lasted 4 hours, reflecting the deep impact Houston had on the industry and those who loved her. On February 19, 2012, Houston was laid to rest at Fairview Cemetery in Westfield, New Jersey, beside her father, John Russell Houston. Her passing deeply affected the music community, which recognized her as a profound influence on artists across multiple generations. Many fans were devastated, with some likening her cultural significance to that of Elvis Presley. Despite Houston's tragic death, the 2012 Grammy Awards proceeded as planned, but the event quickly became a tribute to her. Clive Davis, her longtime mentor, spoke at the ceremony, expressing his devastation over losing someone who had meant so much to him. He praised her regal stage presence and unparalleled talent, emphasizing that she would have wanted the music to continue. Throughout the evening, performers honored her legacy and tributes poured in from fellow artists and fans around the world. Houston's impact on the music industry was undeniable, and her legacy was firmly cemented as one of the greatest voices of all time. Even after her passing, Houston's influence remained strong. She had been working on a remake of the classic film Sparkle, in which she starred alongside Jordan Sparks and Mike Epps. Having secured the production rights in 2001, she had long been invested in the project. The film was eventually released in August 2012, serving as her final on-screen performance. Houston's legacy extends beyond her music and film career. She set an unmatched standard in vocal performance, influencing generations of artists across genres. Her contributions to music were more than just commercial successes. They shaped the industry itself. Whether through her powerful ballads, her groundbreaking records, or her iconic performances, Houston left an indelible mark on the world. She will forever be remembered as the voice, the singer, the diva, the legend. Whitney Houston's life was a mixture of extraordinary talent and personal struggles. Her tragic death reminds us of the challenges faced by those in the spotlight. In her honor, let us continue to support and uplift those around us, recognizing the importance of mental health and offering help to those who may be struggling. Whitney's legacy lives on through her music and the countless lives she touched. Let us celebrate her life and remember her as an icon whose voice will never be forgotten. Discover the powerful beginnings of Whitney Houston, one of the most iconic voices in music history. From her early life in Newark to her extraordinary musical pedigree, Whitney's journey is a testament to talent, determination, and legacy. Dive into her story now and see how she became a global sensation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more insights into the lives of more historical legends.